Today is March 18th. This is the official end date for the first form My Transformation Challenge. And in the past 8 weeks, I was able to lose 12 pounds and 9 inches. And today is actually a really significant date in my life. This marks the 10-year anniversary of my first miscarriage. So today's been a bit of an emotional day for me. One of the things I've learned in the past 10 years is that you have to just make yourself happy. You can't worry about what other people think about you. And it's a hard thing to do. I'm a big people pleaser. I always want people to think that I'm nice and I'm kind. But honestly, there were a lot of judgments passed on me in those early days, and I couldn't make everybody happy, and in the end it just had to be about getting my life back on track, because people are always going to have an opinion. I remember my boss at the time being upset that I missed time from work when I didn't actually have the baby. I think a lot of people don't realize that miscarriage isn't just an emotional journey. It was physically very painful. I had to have a D&C, which is surgery to remove the remains, so that did require some recovery time. And then when I got back to work, I had a coworker come up to me and she said that I was lucky to have had a miscarriage because that meant there was something wrong with the baby and it just saved me the trouble of having an abortion. And honestly, I was just so stunned that she said something like that I just had no response. Even to this day, I don't know how a person responds to a comment like that. I just stopped talking to her. I just thought she was pretty terrible. You know, everybody had things that they were thinking. A lot of people thought I was being really melodramatic at the time. Most people who have a miscarriage do go on to have a live birth. I remember reading books at the time, and I think it's like less than 5% of all women who have a miscarriage, you know, never have a baby. And unfortunately, I fall into that. But statistically speaking, people believed that I would, in fact, go on to have a baby. So doctors, nurses, my therapist, family, friends, they all kept saying, just keep thinking about the baby you're going to have one day. You know, just keep focusing on that. And I know that they were well-meaning, but I felt like there is no crystal ball and we don't know what the future holds. So to me, it felt a little callous to be making that assumption. I had someone tell me that it was okay to be upset, but it wasn't okay to be angry. And I kind of felt like, if you can't be angry when you lose your own child, when can you be angry? Or do they think that you can never be angry? I felt like I'm only a human being and I can only do what I can do. I definitely lost some friendships along the way. I guess it just can't be helped. Everybody sees the world from the lens of their own experience. So, you know, people were, I think, often well-meaning, but they just said things that I just felt were not kind. And I was hurt a lot. And, you know, it's hard to put that all aside and move forward, especially when everyone had an opinion. As we moved along and did infertility treatments, there were folks who believed that, you know, perhaps we shouldn't be doing that, or, you know, maybe we should be doing this and that instead. And, you know, when the infertility treatments didn't work out in our favor, there were folks who were real judgy about the fact that we didn't go on to adopt a child. And I think a lot of people are not aware that adoption is very expensive, and we were financially very much in debt by the time we had gone through all these experiences. But moreover, I was emotionally spent at that point. I just couldn't carry on with more waiting and wondering and not knowing in my life. I was very happy with my life with my husband and our dog before any of this happened, and I just kind of wanted to get back to that life. And my husband did too, and we made that decision that we were going to put this all aside and just go back to life with us. And the moment we decided that, it was like the weight of the world lifted off. And I was able to move forward, and it was such, an amazing experience. And my mind was in a much better state. And I remember my therapist at the time telling me that the thing with infertility treatment is it makes a lot of healthy women believe that they're sick. And the thing is, she kept saying, you're not unhealthy and you're not sick. And it's sort of hard to believe because you're spending several days a week at the hospital and you're surrounded by illness everywhere. And it does kind of, wreak havoc with your mind into thinking that there's something wrong with you. And there isn't. And the thing is, there was never really anything wrong with my body. I was never not well. But my head sort of got this message that there was something wrong with me. So even though my head was in a better place after all this, I think I kind of continued to punish my body for failing me. And in all fairness, my body never did anything wrong. But, I refuse to believe that, this was my baby's fault and all of that, what mother would do that. So I just continued to punish myself for what had happened. And in the end, I don't think I made the most healthy decisions. I started comforting myself with food, and I wasn't working out as faithfully as I was before all this happened. Because during the infertility treatments, they told me to stop exercising, so then I kind of got in the habit of not doing that. So anyway, 6 months ago when my doctor told me, that I had these health issues, that I was pre-diabetic and had high blood pressure and poor cholesterol, and I was suffering from the chronic migraines, and I was having all these issues, and she said to me, you should lose 20 pounds. I finally took it serious and decided to change my body. And, I just can't believe that it took me this long. That here I am 10 years later, and I'm finally getting my body on board. And here I am. I've now lost 30 pounds since my doctor told me to lose those 20 pounds. And I'm feeling much better. Those health issues have all been resolved. My head's in a better place as well. I wish I had known that was going to happen, that pushing your body physically really does put your head in a much better place. And I'm just so grateful to be where I am today. My favorite musician, Tori Amos, has some lyrics that say, the temple of the soul will have to heal the flesh. Only when you're whole can you forgive. And I feel like I finally did that. I finally decided to heal the flesh as much as the soul. And now I'm able to forgive. I can forgive the past hurts. I can forgive the things people said to me back in those days that were hurtful. Because I know that the truth is, my family and friends love me, and everything they said came from a well-meaning place, even if it didn't come out the right way. And I can forgive those friends who walked away because I understand they have their own lives and their own priorities, and they have to put themselves first. And mostly, I just want to forgive myself for, feeling like a failure. It's time to move forward and be a stronger person. And I've come a long way. And I've really changed my life around so far in 2018, and I'm not done yet.